Now.
No.
Nothing? Are you sure you're not, I'm not
I hear
muted?
you.
Okay, you can hear
No, I
me.
hear you.
Oh,
Hmm.
thank God. I was literally gonna kill myself.
Don't do that. Or, I mean, do if you're recording.
Fuck God. Maybe the ratings will go up.
Like once, and then we'll be arrested. Like, I'll be under arrest.
Why would you be under arrest?
Because I'm the only other person who watched it, so, like,
Well,
clearly I'm involved.
you're complicit in some way, I guess, right?
And literally, there is a recording of me telling you to do it. So.
FBI, you know who to arrest. But there is one problem. Can't see you, huh?
You can't.
I do not
Well,
see
let's
you.
see. That's fine, because my video is off.
Well, there you go. Then it's not my fault. Yet again, it is Jarrett's fault. Let the record show.
No. Never.
That's a fair point. Only made a fair point. Hi, Jarrett.
Hello.
How you doing, pal?
I'm okay. How are you? How's Florida?
It was okay. I did some cool SWAT shit with the SWAT man.
SWAT shit with a SWAT man.
Yeah.
Did you,
Dexter.
like, kick a door in? Like,
Um, no, I slapped a bob. You know, like the little bobs,
mm-hmm.
and then I shot a target. With
Oh, did you do that, like, close
simulation.
range shooty guy stuff?
Yeah. Close range shooting guy stuff. Exactly. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. I've done that. When I
You've done it
worked at
before?
the pepper spray place, turns out the guy who owns it is, like, in, like, a super secret We Kill Dudes club.
We Kill Dudes Club?
And, like, trains members of the Camden Police Department and some of that stuff. And his son is, like, a savant at stabbing people.
Jesus.
So, like, that's how my life works. I just stumbled into these people's presence.
Can I guess the race? Caucasian.
Sure. So depends. Are you one of those people that consider Jews not Caucasian?
Wait, you're saying
really stumped you.
I'm confused as to what
Listen,
the angle
is.
Is this a Hotep angle? Is this a Hotep angle?
Internet, and they don't consider Jews to be the same sort of Caucasian. The ones that want white supremacy, they don't consider Jews to be part of that white.
Okay, that's fair. But I also heard opposite, like the Hotep ones, where it's like Jews can't be white, and that they're not real Jews. Have you heard that one?
Well, that the white Jews aren't actual Jews.
Yeah.
The only real Jews are the black ones that
correct.
that were written out of history or whatever.
That's correct. We're the
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. I was shocked to find out that he was one of the Hotepian.
I'm not shocked.
I'm
glad it hasn't become wide enough knowledge where white people are talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have that conversation, if we're going to be honest.
They're gonna cancel Kendrick, huh?
Yeah.
He's uncancelable. He could be like he could literally come out tomorrow and be like the Holocaust did not happen.
No, I feel like he's definitely has like a 3 strikes rule, like we did with Kanye.
I don't think so, man.
Like he has to develop into someone who's cancelable. I don't know that. Like the first one, I think the first one's free, but like if he then follows it up and it's like I actually met Adolf Hitler and he was a cool guy, God. And you're like, I don't know, man. That's probably strike 2.
Him and Tim Kennedy found Hitler, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I mean, he could probably we can probably find out he's really into Holocaust denial, like deeper than we thought, and we'd give him a pass. But if he was pictured in the same room as Donald Trump ever, we'd just cancel him.
Yeah, that's where it ends. Like you could say the Jews didn't have the Holocaust happen to them, but you can't say that you support Donald Trump in any capacity.
Right. That's it. That's going to be a no for me.
It's a no-go. Because at least with the Holocaust deniers, you can reason with them a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And by a little bit, I mean not at all.
Yeah, at all, really.
Yeah.
But like, that's still more than you can reason with someone who's like, I'll work with Donald Trump.
Yeah. But it's a minority of white people who killed Palestinians. So we're able to look past that.
Right. And like, if they didn't want to get killed, they shouldn't be there.
Yeah. This is now a Hotepian anti-Semitic Hotep Hour anti-Semitic podcast. We're pivoting. We're changing with the times, everybody.
Yeah, the people demand.
The people demand more.
The real truth.
Anti-Semitic, anti-white, Hotepian MMA podcasts.
That's what I hear. I root for all the black ones.
Yeah. Who in the UFC or Bellator is like outwardly Hotepian?
I don't know if there is one, but if I'd take a guess,
He would.
Messy. It had to be. It's probably Leon Edwards.
Leon Edwards.
Because I don't suspect it from him, but like,
true.
I feel like you sit him in a room, get him a hot mic in front of like Nick.
I was shocked. The only thing I was shocked about was
Not
how
Black
long
and
it took to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like for it to break. I'm surprised he didn't lead with that.
And like,
you live in Florida.
That's what happens when yes. And you have two brain cells that were only ever good for consuming Percocets and then become a fighter by accident. And then you're like, I don't need a training camp. I'm just going to have my girlfriend be my trainer.
So did he assault
and then
his
when
previous girlfriend or his girlfriend that he has now that is his corner? Right. That it was the
I think
Platinum
my
Princess
understanding is that it was the previous one. Right.
I think they were engaged to be married.
Engaged, or were they actually married? I don't know
with the money handling and her basically micromanaging his career. And then I heard he assaulted her, or she has claimed that he is. It got to the legal process of that, but I'm not sure exactly what happened because it's still there happening, I guess now. And then he addressed it, in his own words. Again, this is Mike Perry we're talking about, so take it with a grain of salt. But he said that he did a burnout on his mother's lawn, which I believe that. And that he basically yoked up his girlfriend at the time. So that could mean any number of things.
Yeah, it was well, she was on a podcast basically and said that was part of why she left. Well, she's like, I guess, promoting or
right,
involved in creating some sort of initiative for domestic violence awareness, and part of the promotion for that was a conversation with how her relationship with Mike Perry ended. And I'm not sure. I don't know how far. I don't remember how far she got into that. How much detail she had in that story so in this podcast. I just know
she was advised to not do that.
Right. Right. I don't know if there was actual.
Just interesting charges, to bring up.
Et cetera, et cetera. Not as interesting as...
What was that last part?
Diego Sanchez possibly having an OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure I read correctly that Diego Sanchez may or may not be considering an OnlyFans.
Diego Sanchez from the UFC, who came out like this, pointing both fingers at Michelle Poirer, and then got beat up. The one with the wacky coach, like the no-touch coach. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, he's not getting naked in his OnlyFans. It's about self-awareness, where he sells a subscription to like Inside Thoughts and shit.
Okay.
So it's more like a Dr. Umar OnlyFans, not like a Beck Rawlings OnlyFans.
Massive L.
So we're automatically going to put a big L on this because I don't think I really want to know.
Honestly, I was really hoping that he was jerking off
Diego
in front of the
Sanchez
camera.
head for a monthly fee.
Right.
Right. If his
Diego, if you're listening to this, I'm going to need you to start jerking off in front of the camera. What if he just like pivots again? Like he's just like, I'm not. Obviously, no one's paying attention. I have to come in front of this camera. Right. Me and Black China have to make a sex tape.
Yeah, I gotta find my niche here.
God.
On OnlyFans,
you know what, Jared? Let's end there. That's that's all we needed to cover today.
Diego Sanchez.
Jesus. God. Where do we even start? Do we start with you know what? We should recap Figueiredo and Moreno. Just the main event. There were a lot of awesome fights. It's behind, but I just wanted to give a quick quick thing to Figueiredo as not too long ago, less than 6 months ago, everyone's like, well, Henry's gone, so the flyweights are gone. And Figueiredo basically saved the division, and Moreno too. Right? Like there's like a solid 3 guys up there that like, you know, that's a fun division now. I'll watch Figueiredo and Moreno fight every single night if I have to.
I think it's arguably he's like arguably a savior of the division. I think what's important to know is that he's one of those dudes that really has been beating everyone in that division for years. With the exception of Formiga.
Yeah, I mean he got I had
in a decision that I don't think anyone agrees
still a good fight.
But I think he is like overnight
and not a lick of
suddenly
English.
Like the drip changes and he's like a champion now.
Right.
Yeah,
you're
can't
like,
I?
You're like, you know what? You look the part. You finish everybody.
Like, cool,
I'm good.
Fine. We don't have to talk then. Right. You're 5'5", flyweight. Get in there, bro. I don't know that he has the. I think if the reason why that division was basically Mighty Mouse's is because of how his prowess, like watching him fight,
right.
he would finish people in ways that you probably had never seen before, or transition into finishes in ways you'd never seen before. And that was constant. Even if he wasn't always finishing, he was always performing at such a level that like. Even if it is one-sided,
it was like watching like LeBron play.
I don't know if that's Figueiredo's bag necessarily.
Like, dominant
right now.
Performance, unreal athleticism, and such a complete understanding of the craft. The same thing I say for Figueiredo, but I won't say he's a flash in the pan because he's got such an unreal amount of athleticism and he's so exciting to watch fight. Like even if he loses, he's still going to be like one of the top guys to watch in the division anyway. Right.
And he's definitely not a flash. I don't think. I think he's very much legit. I wonder if he has the same. If there was a charismatic draw to Mighty Mouse, I wonder if that can be.
I think his charisma is the finishing stuff.
I'm not sure it's there yet.
As long as he keeps doing that, just bleed gods just need to see that.
Yeah.
You know. Oh yeah. But hey, and much like DC and John Jones, like and Yoel Romero, like sometimes we gotta do a little dirty shit to fucking stay up top. It happens that way.
Sure. All true things.
That's true. Yeah, he beats Moreno.
That's not a draw if he didn't lose that point.
Eye gouge or ball kick. Right.
And it's the first time it's happened to him. He clearly doesn't need me to tell him that. Obviously, he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
But he went from number 9.
That was a draw. Right? So then they're gonna have that fight again, and we're all gonna be happy again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Add it to a bigger card.
They wouldn't book it again.
They still have cards to fill up, so we're starting a whole
there.
new year. They just pulled. since we're talking about potential championship fights, Kamzat got COVID and is not going to be fighting Kevin Holland. So I would imagine, because that was supposed to, I don't know, was that? No, I'm sorry. Leon Edwards, and that was potentially going to be like
Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
I think Holland is trying to get,
which I like too, but I think he got Derek Brunson instead
in his place
because he wanted Derek Brunson. Well, you know, it's I think it's intelligent for him because everyone that's fought Brunson and brutally destroyed him has moved up to like the top 5, and then also has got a shot at the belt. So he seems to be that unofficial gatekeeper that they have there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a good name to knock out. Not that, I don't want to put him in that position where he's just a punching bag, but he's number 7.
He's not run anytime soon.
He's 36-ish, somewhere around there. His last real big fight was a loss against Adesanya, but he's won his last 3 since. So he's on enough of a tear where a win over him would be legit, I think. But he's also like not so far out where he couldn't,
I just don't see
back in the hunt again.
Him doing that.
Right, and I don't think anyone's like checking up or trying to see what Derek Brunson's career looks like in 3 years, where I think people are way more invested in.
Well, we were really invested in Jacare than like
Holland
Kevin
Cosmo.
killed that man. So it's like weird.
Yeah.
To me, it's a weird jump. Like I understand why he's doing it because it just seems like the last few guys that have made it that championship run have beat Derek Brunson. But it just seems like he beat Jacare, who I think is a much better fighter than Derek Brunson is. And then he's kind of jumping back down to fight him in the hopes of going back up.
Yeah, but I think in beating a better fighter, you still have to. I think winning over good fighters isn't necessarily the only way to raise your profile,
right?
Or isn't even like the best way to raise your profile. Sometimes just beating a name is the way you raise your profile. That's why people like Diego Sanchez still exist in the business or in the company at least, is because he might not even be a good fight. Like no one's going to beat. You don't beat him and say, "Wow, that guy really beat a tough fight," because Diego Sanchez hasn't won a fight in a long time, or won a good fight in a long time.
That's correct.
But you can say you beat a name everyone knows.
I'll accept that as an answer.
Which is important. As important as it is, as important now as it was, in 2005 or whatever. Whenever Lesnar beat Randy Couture. Like, was Randy Couture the best heavyweight that he could fight? No, because he met those a year later. But it was the biggest name at the time in that division.
Also,
and it made
with few and far between fights being canceled all the time, it's like you just kind of have to take like what's available at this point, like what with the best available because of COVID and travel restrictions and all that shit. So,
and even with all those things in mind, like Dana's still not a person who's like. He's still a person who would rather see you fight than rather see you wait. You don't want to be a person who declined to fight because you never know when it's going to become like some petty beef.
Exactly. Speaking of petty beef, people seem to be cutting and running from the UFC. Not people, it's just the older people. Yoel goes to Bellator. Any thoughts on that? Thoughts and prayers?
It's funny that it worked out.
Right. Which is not strange. He's like, we're not going to be the retirement home for the UFC, and then he's like, you know what, Yoel, cut over here.
Yeah. And I think I think Scott Coker is not an idiot. He recognized that everybody wanted to see him there.
Yeah.
Like,
and he doesn't have to do a weight cut. Yeah.
And
and I can do all the steroids I want. Perfect. Right.
And Scott Coker has a relationship with Yoel Romero already because he was in Strikeforce when his career basically started. So it makes I can understand being obstinate. You don't want to be you don't want to be always seen as like the knockoff by taking all these old ass dudes. But also you want fighters that people are like want to watch and that you don't have to build necessarily. And Yoel Romero is that. And it's good for Yoel Romero. He can fight relatively same weight, maybe not in the same sort of caliber, but there's an
You know, like
upside.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
There's no
in
glass ceiling
Bad Boy
shaped
or
like
Boys in the
Israel
Hood, where he's
Adesanya.
swinging at the air. That's Corey Anderson right now because he was like, I was gonna clear this whole fucking division out, and now I have to fucking fight Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
Trying to get that Oscar now. He's just like,
Psych. Right.
Yeah.
But now there's like there's some drama there.
Yeah.
That sort of
He even put a
story
meme up
writes
too about
itself.
it. Like,
Corey Anderson thinks he's the king
he's
of this
just like
shit
very not happy
for
about
free.
this whole thing, this whole ordeal.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And also
Rumble's going to be fighting at heavyweight.
Romero fight is one everyone wants to see.
I don't think that's a good idea. Hey, yo.
I don't know if he actually can.
Yo,
Rumble Johnson has a hard time cutting
don't go up to heavyweight
to anything lower than heavyweight. But
don't listen to Jarrett. Jarrett's gonna get you murdered.
Put on like 50 pounds, dude.
Yeah, okay, but it's
no big
fucking
deal. That
Anthony Rumble
Johnson,
Johnson, okay?
At 250
like, he's
probably.
already 6'3". He's knocking him in another dimension.
Listen.
Get in there and fight. You fight him, Jarrett.
Be a baby. Get in.
This is for Jarrett's.
Which one?
Hey, you know what? If you're gonna go to Bellator, you might as well make all the wacky fights you can. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you go to Bellator.
What if we just get the biggest version?
That's my understanding. You go to Bellator to do clown shit.
Yeah, let's be like fucking.
Yeah, just mega Romero.
God. It'd be like Transformers
he
fighting
moves
each
at
other.
like half speed.
That's all we need. We only need a hot 30 seconds.
He's gassed in like 30 seconds. That's what I'm here for. Listen, I watched every round of that stupid.
You didn't like it?
Roy Jones Tyson fight.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I can watch that. No, that shit was dumb as hell. And
that's the fight.
Like Roy Jones is like, please don't kill me.
And
Michael's like, I really want to kill you.
Roy Jones thing, but Jake Paul getting to fight Ben Askren, and Logan Paul fighting Mayweather.
And then like,
he's not taking the fight anymore.
Accepting, and then apparently Jake Paul ghosting.
It seems official.
It seems like it's official. No one it seems official. They're saying they're acting like it's official.
Yeah,
but Ben Askren's out here saying like I haven't heard from Jake Paul.
If I'm Jake Paul, I'm taking that fight because Ben Askren's terrible on the feet. Like that might be an actual fight that he can win against an actual fighter.
Yeah, but I don't know that anyone. Well, he should take it because it's again name recognition. Yeah. Sometimes just beating a dude who everyone knows, even if they're bad at this. Well,
that's what I'm saying. Like he should 100% take that fight because
really
if he beats him, I beat a UFC fighter. I'm literally God. I'm literally God now.
I wonder because he's just here to. Jake's here.
He does.
I heard this theory that Jake actually
Logan apparently does
relatively
not
seriously, where
sauced
Logan
by
doesn't.
YouTuber.
Logan just wants the shmoney, but I don't know what
to fight Conor McGregor.
Jake's end game here is. Like, does he just want to fight for money? Is that the plan? Does he want to box for money? Does he want to do MMA for money? Or is he just trying to fight whoever he can in the easiest possible matchup for himself and get paid the most?
Yeah, it's not going to work out for him. Well, Dylan's really not.
Yeah, I feel like that's not going to work out for him.
That's true.
No, but I think he is battle tested in a way that Jake Paul is. Jake Paul is young and has muscles.
Yeah, and by Conor.
But Dylan Dennis has been punched in the face a lot in his life.
Yeah,
and I think has a killer.
Yeah, it's a higher caliber athlete. We're talking about a world class athlete. But so is Nate Robinson.
Right.
Still an athlete.
He was a world class basketball player. Still an athlete, but when someone like Kobe Covington says, "I'll beat the shit out of LeBron James," I might.
Yeah, because I think LeBron would take it more seriously than Nate did. I think Nate was going to be there. He's like, "I'm just going to beat him up because he's white," and then just didn't train. I think that's what he did because he didn't look like he prepared at all for that fight.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Never.
at all. He looked
Like
like he'd never done
honestly,
punches
it looked like he's never been in a
before.
street fight before.
Just was
Like
not ready for
it
this
was
dude to throw
it was
punches at.
embarrassing. Like Nate, I know you listen to this podcast. You should be embarrassed.
Maybe it was like a pressure thing. I don't know. It was he looked so shut down before the fight even like as soon as this fight started that it's almost like either he had never done this before and just walked in thinking it'd be whatever, or he just completely like blacked out.
He's like,
and,
I don't know. I got
was so
inside.
nervous
I didn't
about
see
the
a
thing,
backboard
like,
anywhere. I didn't know
the
what
next
to do.
30 seconds just forgot about
what do I do here?
Yeah, like what do I do?
Right.
I'm waiting for the pick and never came.
Yeah, he's gonna fight Floyd Mayweather.
Isn't Logan trying to fight or going to fight Floyd? They're gonna make like $1,000 million and fly to Earth, like to Mars together with Elon Musk probably afterwards, because
Logan really won
sad.
Out of everybody here because he literally did get the money fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, there is no bigger money fight than that one. As proven every time
he literally doesn't even have to train.
Pacquiao.
He's no.
No.
It'll be like
he's
a
probably
YouTube
not going
thing.
to.
Yeah.
Or he probably will, but like not for the fight. He's gonna train to look like a certain. You're gonna train aesthetically.
Oh,
and then show
fucking,
up like 10 minutes before the fight, like you did with that. What's his name in Japan? Yeah, he's gonna show up like right in the middle of the show, 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late, and then they're gonna wait for him in the ring. He's gonna put his shit on, come out, beat this dude's ass, and leave. I don't think it's gonna be that easy because Logan Paul's enormous. But I don't think it's going to be a fight, and I don't know if Logan. I would love to know what Logan thinks this is.
Right.
Because in my head, I think he's in on the take and knows it's just a work to get the money, and they're gonna work a little bit in the ring. It's gonna be whatever. But I wonder if Logan no, I'm gonna knock Floyd Mayweather out in the ring, and then I'm gonna run from his security. Like I don't know if what everybody wanted McGregor to do, which is just kick him and like get disqualified, but like just do it because.
And this is an exhibition.
I wonder if Logan.
Right. Well, this is an exhibition that doesn't matter.
There has been no consequences for me ever. So like,
but there was like more. There's more like things down on paper to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Right, and I think McGregor ultimately was here for the money. Like, I don't think he cared how that fight went. Getting him to sign the paper and doing the promotional tour was all he need. Is what he wanted. The fight is just like the agreement that I'm just going to get boxed out here. I'm going to try clearly because I don't want to look like an asshole, but I have no expectations to beat you. I'm just here to get paid my $10 million or whatever. I wonder if Logan's here on that, or he's on that's what I'm saying to everybody. But like when I walk in the ring, I'm gonna try to.
Seems like he's like already knows. Like I know what's gonna happen. So, right, maybe they're setting up some sort of like Jake Paul
setting expectations.
His brother movie, you know? Yeah. Rocky tries to avenge.
They're trying to write Rocky, but in actual fights.
Him in the ring. Maybe Logan died. Maybe he kills Logan Paul.
Maybe Logan kills Floyd, and Gervonta Davis has to avenge him.
If anything other than Logan Paul happens, then I'll know that it has been rigged. Because, come on.
Yes. Also, like I don't know that. I would love to have an interview with Floyd Mayweather's accountant. If you're listening, Floyd Mayweather's accountant, I want to talk to you.
Well,
I just want to know what kind of decisions a man makes to get himself in this position where he can retire twice and be like,
amount of money into those strip clubs in Las Vegas, and those got shut down because of COVID. So maybe he's trying to recoup some losses.
Mm-hmm.
Because he hasn't fought.
That's possible.
Since Tension, right? And that was almost 2 years ago.
No. But I have to imagine that man has residuals somewhere that isn't just strip clubs.
Or does he? because he can't read,
and like those things
and
will
most of
balance
his
out.
money is in watches. So I also don't know that to be a fact.
I'm sure a lot of his
Yeah.
isn't watches.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he just likes just making very easy money. I could literally do this forever.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
he did it
75
twice.
years
And was
old.
like,
I'll
I
just
can do
keep
this
beating up
forever. Actually,
YouTubers.
I can just fake fight for millions of dollars.
That's great. I love it. I love that for him.
That's a very pro wrestling thing for him to do.
All right, back to the real
You,
fights. So we recap Figueiredo. We talked about Brunson and Holland. There seems to be a little bit of a grudge match there. Anthony Pettis has left the UFC. I would assume that he's going to join Bellator with his brother if he continues to fight. That way the Pettis brothers can be under the same promotion yet again. Or you think he's just going to wrap it up?
I wonder if he's going to continue to fight. Or like maybe not like officially retire, but be like, I can just not do this. So
yeah, he's not super old. Like he's
only what,
perfect for the Greybeard League right now in the Bellator. Because that means he's got at least 2 more years left in him, 2 or 3 more years,
right?
If he wants to do it. And he fights at welterweight or lightweight.
Welterweight. At least his last 2 fights were welterweight.
That's a tough division.
He returned to welterweight after he lost to Poirer.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he goes back down to lightweight because.
Yeah.
Because Chandler has left lightweight.
Yeah, I just wonder if that's the smoky one.
Well, lightweight's still pretty good there because they still have like a solid top 5 guys there. But welterweight's like one of the last places on earth that I would want to be on Bellator because it seems like most of their talent has gravitated there. Most of their top tier talent, at least.
Actually,
that's good for him then because there's nobody there.
He signed with PFL.
Even better because there's even less people in.
And he's going to be a lightweight.
So good for him. I don't know how good for. Well, I guess he's going to get a lot of money from sponsorships because you only win money if you win the belt there.
But I think he's.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get a decent amount of money
sponsorships
from sponsorships alone, obviously, because you can have whatever
he's allowed to have them,
you want. Oh, speaking of PFL, Clarissa Shields is going to the PFL as well. She's going to be fighting in the big women's league there that they have. Yeah, I think so too.
Which that is a good choice for her, I think.
It would be embarrassing.
Trying to fit into UFC's women's division can be tough. It's because the tops of the 2 divisions there, one of which basically doesn't exist.
It's a terrible fucking idea. It's a bad idea. Terrible. If you thought about it, Clarissa, don't do it, huh? Because at 145, you got Amanda. At 135, you got Amanda. So stick with the PFL. Go beat up Sarah Kaufman. Because you can definitely beat up Sarah Kaufman. The only real issue she's gonna run into is Kayla Harris. But that's the fight that I want to see. Like if we're gonna pit the world talents against each other, I want to see you fight Kayla Harris, who doesn't have. Or who does have rather world class judo? Like she's an Olympic silver medalist, I think. Yeah, but she's the real fucking deal, and her hands are pretty good. And when I watch Clarissa fight, there's nothing really that jumps off on paper about her striking to me as a boxer. Like I feel like I've seen way better. I feel like I've seen way better female boxers. I feel like Amanda in a boxing match would fucking kill Clarissa Shields if we're being honest with each other. But regardless, that doesn't take away from her accolades at all. She's very big. She's heavy. She's got heavy hands, and obviously her boxing fundamentals are pretty fucking good. So let's see what she picks up. I want to see how her fight IQ. Carries over to the PFL, like how she's able to learn Muay Thai, if she's able to learn grappling, because that's going to be the first thing that she's going to have to fend off against. Because I think most of the women there are all top tier grapplers versus strikers. So it'll be interesting to see if they can take away that boxing pedigree that she has and take her to the floor, because she is very big.
Yeah, I think that is the. That's the clear program against her, right? Like, I'm sure the first time she kicks someone ever will be her first fight in the PFL, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, maybe obviously in training, where she's probably going to learn how to from some of the best kickers around. Um, but having being a gold medalist in
It is.
two
It is.
Olympic Games is an accomplishment. Um, I, but again, they're putting the the future of the women's division in PFL, especially
I think
145,
it's 155.
seemingly on Kayla
Yep.
Harrison's back.
Yep. It's gonna be. It should be 155 for them.
155. I thought it was 45. But so
Yeah.
that's clearly the goal. I don't think she
Yeah.
is as inevitable as Amanda Nunes here. So any fight that doesn't seem like it's a completely
Right.
spoken for is far more interesting, just out of the gate. Now, of course, she has plenty of
Yeah.
proving herself to do because we haven't ever seen her fight in this format before. But I'm way more excited to watch a story build there where Carissa learns how to become an MMA fighter and challenges a real deal
Right.
American fucking super fighter like Kayla Harrison than her
Right.
winning a couple fights against some folks in the UFC and getting absolutely
Yeah.
destroyed. But
Yeah, I'm into it because I think she can have a
definitely
reasonable
get destroyed.
expectation to like be competitive, like against these other women because they're not the best, but they are good fighters. Um, and the ceiling is pretty high because I feel like we're gonna get her like. Whereas we saw Jake prepare for Nate like 5-6 months out, they haven't announced anything for the PFL yet. Like they have a season, so because they have a season, your schedule is already made up for you ahead of time. So that means she's gonna have a guaranteed 4 or 5 fights. So even if she gets like in the UFC, like you sign like they don't make your fights ahead. They make the matchups obviously as they come along. So for Clarissa, she's signed to this group. She's going to have a guaranteed 4 or 5 fights if she doesn't retire or anything like that. You know what I mean? So even if she loses her first fight or wins her first fight, she's gonna have to fight several other times, and it's gonna be one after the other. So it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be very cool to see. She's gonna have to fight multiple times in one night too, as well.
Yeah, and depending on how the
Yeah.
seeds shake out, most of her fights might have some sort of consequence. Like unless she loses three straight, then clearly
Right.
not. But like playoff
Right.
berth is
And
always there for
especially because
someone
they
who can
only
stay
have
50-50.
8 people, including her, in that division. So it's gonna be cool. I liked it. I like the setup.
Right.
PFL's got an interesting setup, and we're gonna get to see a newcomer come in there and challenge the rankings. So that's Anthony Pettis. That's Clarissa Shields. We can get into Kazmat getting COVID. Kamzat. Kamzat got COVID. His manager, Alaziz, said that he's got to take some significant time off because the COVID has affected his lung capacity and it has damaged his lungs. So they pulled him from the January 20th card as well. So that Leon Edwards fight is going to be off until they figure out what's going to happen with him. But Leon says that he still wants to fight Kamzat because that's a big upcoming guy that he wants to fight. But in wake of him, he has vocally challenged Jorge Masvidal out. So I don't know. Do you think we see that matchup finally? We finally see that grudge match in the upcoming fight because they have cards to fill. They just dropped a couple fights because of COVID and other reasons from that McGregor card. Do you think that we get to see Jorge and Leon get thrown into that into the mix because they're both ready to go?
I would like to, because it doesn't seem to be in anyone's interest to hold it out for some to hold out on this for some reason. You see a lot of these fights, these potential matchups that can be grudge matches get drawn out to build potential to see how these fighters do in diverging paths to see if they can become superstars before they meet. That's a booking strategy that happens a lot, but like you mentioned, we're kind of desperate for fights in some of these cards. And I don't see that there can't be a consequence here that's good for everyone. Jorge Masvidal kind of needs a good comeback fight to get him back in the business. And I don't see any downside of Leon Edwards being like, yo, dude, with this stupid fucking BFM belt or BMF belt, let's just make another BMF fight. It doesn't have to be for anything except that stupid shit, because clearly that's what we're here for now. It's what we do now. We don't like each other. I'm gonna call you a bitch on Twitter. Like that's what that belt is for, to talk shit and get fights for, based on it. And Dana White, person who can't be like choosy right now about like what kind, like the kind of hand holding you have to do to get to a main event, should just be excited that someone's trying to make their own. And a thing that is not really like a consequence to the champion of the division sort of thing. Like this is kind of just two dudes who want to fight each other. So like I don't see any reason not to.
There's more excuses. I mean, there's almost no excuse to make the fight, not make the fight rather, because I mean it's perfect on paper. Everything's checked off. It's interesting backstory. They're both highly ranked fighters. I think Jorge is like top 8. And what's his name? Leon is like 3 or 4. If not, they're both 3 and 4. I don't have the rankings in front of me, so I don't know exactly what Jorge has at, but I know Leon's at either 3 or 4. High-ranking fight. It's a fight that the public now knows who Leon Edwards is. There's been a lot of drama and controversy around Leon Edwards getting a fight as of recently. And this is also like another thing, like whoever wins this maybe should get the opportunity to get the number 1 contender, or have a chance to fight the number 1 contender, or for the belt at this stage. So it's perfect.
Yeah, Leon Edwards is 3, Jorge Masvidal is 4.
Yeah.
So turns out this is a consequential divisional fight.
There's
too.
no reason why not.
So yeah, I don't see why
not.
This solves the who's next problem too.
Which is a good fight. I would watch it again. I'd watch it again.
Colby Covington.
But I think Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards in Jorge make a more interesting, better fight for Usman. Because I think with Leon's skill, I mean, Colby's just about the same. Colby's just about the same as far as striking goes. Like if you talk about kickboxing skill, but we've seen it already. Let's see some. If we have the opportunity to see something just as good but new, I would like to see Leon fight Usman, or I'd like to see Jorge. Well, I guess Jorge was less competitive than Covington was, so I can't say that we would put Jorge back out there. I don't even know that Jorge would do better this time around. But with Leon's skill set matching somewhat closer to Covington's, I would like to see him get in there with Usman should he win.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good opportunity for him.
Yes.
I think I would rather see this fight happen first instead of just booking Leon Edwards into Usman, because
Usman did fight what's his name?
There's going to be a good opportunity to do this after.
Well, he's fought both of them. He's fought, and it was. I mean, like Usman had to wrestle him to the floor because he was not standing on the feet with him. So it would be interesting to see how he's grown as a fighter since then. Leon Edwards. That was a 3-rounder, was it? That was a 3-rounder, I'm pretty sure, right? So that could be different this time around with the 2 extra rounds, you know? Mm-hmm. Heat it up.
Yeah, it could be. And really, of the 2 of them, I think only Masvidal has been in 5-round fights since.
Right.
So I think it'd be interesting to see Leon Edwards in that environment.
Fuck me up.
Sign me up.
Okay, so that handles that. And Israel and Johnny Boy is lined up for the light heavyweight championship.
I think we talked about this a little bit when it was kind of just a rumor.
I don't feel any different either.
But now it's real, and I don't feel any different. This is a great opportunity for Blackslowitz to get the bag. I don't know the outcome here. Like, if he defends it, then is
it a shock the world though? Because
I don't. Think it's going to
he
happen.
Killed Dominic Reyes with his hands. He's killed just about everybody bigger than him at this
Yes.
stage, and technically he is bigger than Israel. Israel's going up. Israel's not a natural 205er. Like, he's a natural 185 fighter.
Yeah. But I think it's difficult to put Izzy in the same box because he's not the same sort of fighter.
Right.
He's not Dominic Reyes. He's not Corey Anderson.
Right.
He's not Luke Rockhold. They're all big stand-up guys. He's a bit of he's unorthodox. He's not like, I think the most unfair comparison to him is always John Jones, but him and John Jones fight pretty differently. Like, they are connected because they're lanky black dudes.
And they're undefeated.
Have angles and sometimes they're spinning things and they're undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, I would say John Jones is more of like a Muay Thai fighter, whereas Israel's more of like a kickboxer, like a K1 style kickboxer.
Right.
Right.
Almost like a French sort of savate kickboxer in the same way that GSP kind of was in his early days, before he started wrestling. And I think he also possesses like incredible precision. I think where Jan is like super tough. His chin has been tested.
He's got that raw animal power,
and it never matters.
That Polish bear strength.
It's got that
type of shit you see Khabib wrestle with.
Right. I just don't think like Jan's like his win condition here is knocking Izzy out.
Hey, Kelvin Gastelum did it with just boxing.
So I don't see him bludgeoning him to a decision.
Just boxing alone. Yeah.
That's true. There's always an opportunity, but
that's possible.
This feels like a fight Jan loses.
That's possible.
Decision.
But I honestly I can see Jan putting him away.
Punched and outstruck.
And the only reason why I say that is because he's going up to Jan. You know what I mean? This isn't a familiar environment for him to be fighting high caliber fighters. Like, he has not done that in MMA yet.
Yeah, not only is he 205, he's fighting
a
very good 205 champion.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like he's about 240 pounds.
Yeah, 205er that probably cuts to 205 by a lot.
So we're going to look at... No, I don't think so either, but I mean, like, we talk about puncher's chance all the time. If there's a puncher's chance, it's this fight for Jan, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Right.
I don't want to sound like I'm just, like, writing him off because I clearly don't believe that Jan is completely just outclassed here. It just feels like booking that puts Jan as an underdog purposefully. And no one's setting the expectation for him to lose necessarily, but I feel like the expectation is already in the air, which is why I sort of I'm sitting on the the consolation
he's won either way because he's already a champion.
He deserves.
So he's already retained a belt.
Right.
And now he's going to get the payday, like you had said. And then, more towards your point, I will say this. I know it's very difficult to move up a weight class, but who knows? I mean, maybe this was, this is the best thing for Israel. Maybe he's even more comfortable at 205. Maybe he's faster and stronger at 205. Because he just cut a little bit to do 185. Now he really doesn't have to do any type of weight cut, and he can get bigger and stronger. So maybe we can see a better, stronger kickboxing product out of Israel. So it can go either way, I guess.
It is interesting just to see what adjustments Izzy makes to get to 205 because I think he's mentioned he doesn't cut much at all to get to 185.
Well, I know he's been doing powerlifting.
I don't know
if
he's interested in like being a bigger, stronger guy.
He did that for Paul.
Has he?
So for Paul Acosta, he started picking up a powerlifting regimen. So I wonder if he's just going to keep the same regimen and just get heavier.
It's a possibility.
No.
Because you don't really want to be underweight at 205 because you're giving up too much.
Whereas Jan was just
in the Saturday or the Friday before,
and then just balloon back up.
Right. Right. Um, it's a very curious fight, and I think win or lose, I wonder what Jan would do. Like, it's not like he couldn't beat,
Right.
Glover or Thiago or
Right.
Dominic Reyes again and get back into a rematch situation. And I think the problem becomes if you're so determined to make these two division champions, you're now locking these two divisions up based on one guy.
Right.
And the opportunities for both of these divisions become scarcer. And that's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see Izzy defend in 205 and then like people like Darren Till or even Brunson are people who are fighting for nothing. Really, they're fighting for an opportunity 3 years from now when they find time for Izzy to defend. But we'll see. I mean, the only two division champion we have now is Amanda. And I don't.
There's supposed to be another one because what's his name was supposed to jump down
with those two divisions.
Cody Garbrandt was supposed to jump down to fight Figueiredo, I think. But he got some sort of
I did read that.
I don't think
somewhere.
it was COVID. I think something else happened. I think he had some complications with the
maybe he was just
the
smart.
weight cut. Yeah, something dumb.
He like passed out or something, right?
Very smart man.
Smart man.
Yeah, that's Izzy and Yanni. There are rumors of Stipe and Ngannou 2 with the possible winner to face John Jones in the summer. So the only rumor part of that really seems to be the fighting John Jones in the summer. It seems like Ngannou's going to fight Stipe. Yeah, I'm in for it.
Sure. Ngannou's evolved as a fighter, in my opinion, since their last meet. I don't know if that means he wins. Stipe has kind of surprised me in how well he's sort of defended the belt since he's got it. Not that I don't, that I ever thought Stipe was a bad fighter. Clearly not, but
and he's got longer hair.
Pressure has not been.
I don't know how that affects.
In fact, he's becoming like he's taken over the reins of like Super Dad.
Yes.
That DC has left for him.
Loving the flow, Steve,
and has embraced it well.
Loving the flow. What if he gets abraded like Sean O'Malley?
I think that would be a good fight.
Cornrows.
The last one was an alright
fight.
And
rainbows. He just goes and he's got like a silver grill. Then
and
he's
rainbows
canceled.
And shit.
Start saying the N-word.
Then he's canceled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You cannot culturally appropriate.
It's almost as racist as him just saying
at this stage of your career. Yeah.
Can't. Sorry. Unless you came out here with them.
You can't just do the whole riffraff thing like at the end of your career.
You can't just suddenly embrace the
Brits. You can't do that now, bro. I like it. I mean, we know Stipe's got ice in his veins, but Ngannou's been on a little bit of a tear too. He's been putting guys away, and he looks like he's found his rhythm. Do you think that'll be enough?
I would hope so. I don't know. I think he has smarter hands now. I think the marketing and like the story of Ngannou was he had like this Cameroonian strength. Like everyone was talking about his one punch power, which still exists, but over the past year, mostly last year, but he did fight once this year, especially against Kane and
Curtis Blades too, right? Didn't he kill Curtis Blades?
Two of the best strikers in heavyweight history.
Yeah.
Curtis Blades, that was the year before. But yeah, like.
The main reason why I brought Curtis is because he's a Division I wrestler and he didn't get that far. So, I think it's important to note going in against Stipe.
Right. And that was the second time they fought.
Yeah.
And Blades had been a guy who had sort of tried to evolve and change his game and just got, torn up.
Right. Yeah.
almost the same way he got shot up, back in
yeah,
like
that's important that you
2016 or
noted
whatever.
that
Except the doctor
because
stopped that one.
the first time around he was Bobby Schmurdered, and then the second time around he was Bobby Schmurder in the division, and everyone was like, "This is the guy. He's gonna be the one that beats Stipe." And then Ngannou was like, "Haha, not today. Why are you gay?" Is what he basically said.
Psych. Sir, I have a white dyed cut in my fade.
I'm literally from the streets.
I wanted to let you know that I'm from the streets.
On some Wesley Snipes Demolition Man
From
shit.
the future. Yeah, I'm here. I'm clearly here on some Wesley Snipes shit. So I'm excited to see Blade versus a real vampire.
How do you think Ngannou faces against John Jones? If let's say he wins, or Stipe even. I think it's a higher skill
personally,
level fight.
Stipe and Jones is the fight I'd
The
rather
better
see.
display of skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Stipe he's very sneakily like a high level fighter. Has incredible like IQ, sees all the
that's
small stuff in ways that like real like
that's how he beat DC both times.
Which is why he can do so little and be so effective. Yeah. And DC is not a slot.
Only
like,
one other
if
person's
you beat
done that.
DC
His name is
twice,
John Jones.
then clearly you're on some shit.
Yeah.
Right. And the second time he beat DC like handily. So he's clearly getting better, and like not to say that his potential is limitless, because clearly is limited by his age and his ability, but I don't know that he is someone who would be all that dazzled by late stage John Jones. John Jones 10 years ago, maybe, but I don't that John Jones doesn't fight that way anymore. And if he wants to stand and be a big guy standing and striking from the outside, Stipe is here for that. John just sort of embraced his wrestling more because he's, spent a lot of time powerlifting. But I'm not sure. Like, Stipe has that great, almost. Who am I thinking of? Who starched Tito Ortiz
Chucky?
like 3 times in a row? Yeah. Yes. Chuck Liddell. He has that great like Liddell sort of sprawl defense, like really like the anti-wrestler. So I that feels, it may not be on paper and it might not be in the odds, but that feels like an uphill climb for John Jones, where I don't think Ngannou feels like an uphill climb for John Jones. Like, the story for Jones there is don't get hit like in the face by that shit. Frustrate him until he opens up, and I think Francis is someone who still has weaknesses.
You gotta get him open.
Where Steve you gotta get him open, but like you have to work hard to get to them because, because he's still Stipe, who's still like an enormously talented tough guy. Not that Francis is tough, but Francis has been exposed.
It's difficult to put Francis.
Has found that
it's difficult to put Francis away
around him,
but obviously, like for obvious reasons, he's 6'5", 200,000 pounds. But it's not too difficult to get him frustrated and gassed out if you are an appropriate wrestler like DC. Like DC was like trying to did DC fight Francis Ngannou? No, I don't think DC fought Francis Ngannou. I meant to say Stipe. Stipe beat Francis, but he took a beating Francis. Like, his face was swollen. Shit was all black and blue over his face. Like, he took a beating and like he couldn't put him away because of how freakishly strong he is. So it's not an easy fight. Either one of those guys is not an easy fight for anybody on planet Earth.
And it's when he lost to Derek Lewis, it was like Lewis kind of really got lucky early and hit him hard enough where like he was frustrating him on the outside, which is something Lewis isn't very good at, actually. It's like boxing from the outside. But he got Ngannou so turned around trying to land power shots on someone who thought it would be a free thing for him to do. And Lewis was hitting him harder than he expected to be hit. And that fight just kind of was a spiral. It's a decision. I don't know that is something.
Right.
I don't think that's a problem John Jones would have. I think he could recreate that. Maybe not with the same amount of power, but I don't know that. I don't know that I've seen Nagano become like this the perfect sort of Zen striker, the kind of guy that could beat John Jones. The kind of guy we always sort of try to build to beat John Jones. Someone like what's his name? Like who then eventually did not beat John Jones. The
Thai guy.
The Thai guy, they almost killed each other.
Diego Sanchez?
Then he retired, then unretired.
Oh, Gustafsson. Yeah.
Netherlands, Norway.
Yes.
Gustafsson, yeah.
It's not like we've seen his growth come from like him slowing down and like picking his shots. It's just that him remembering. Oh, I used to do this I used to kill people.
Right.
Yeah, fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can just keep doing that.
Believe it.
If I just believe in myself, I can just kill them again.
I only have 2 more things left. The second to last thing, Dustin and McGregor. That's coming up the second time around. I think this is pretty easy for me. I have McGregor simply killing Dustin Poirier. Yeah.
He killed the first time, and Dustin Poirier's gone like 10-2 since the last time they fought, but I don't think that changes.
It might go a little bit longer, like you're saying,
it's
like you're alluding to, but
minutes,
I just
but
don't see Dustin's not outboxing Conor McGregor. Is Dustin going out to fight Floyd Mayweather and landing 108 punches flush? America? Don't see it happening. Is Dustin Poirier known for his kickboxing? Is Conor McGregor?
No.
So, I mean, you're not supposed to do MMA math, but it's like,
yeah,
Dustin's skill set is pretty limited to him just boxing. Like, he gets into boxing matches, and I just don't see him out boxing Conor McGregor because he tried to do that before, and that was early in Conor's career. And now he's bigger, and he's stronger, and he's faster, and he's younger than Dustin is. I don't see Dustin coming away with the W. If he does, kudos to him. I'm fucking wrong. I was incorrect. It's happened before. It will happen again. I will be wrong again. But if I'm making an educated guess, he's getting killed by Conor.
I think there are plenty of fighters who
Max Holloway
could get the benefit of if they had a rematch, things would go differently.
Yeah.
Today, yes, I would. I would say that if someone like, maybe not Chad Mendes, I would say if like Jose Aldo got a rematch in 2016, I feel like that fight would go differently. Yeah.
No.
I don't think Donald Cerrone would get a rematch, and I don't think he'd get TKO'd, but I don't think that fight's one he wins. Max Holloway is probably the right answer.
It's a fight I want to see.
Dustin Poirier is definitely the wrong answer.
I'll watch it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll watch it. But like, I am here to be surprised. But I think it will require surprise because I can't believe it. My brain does not put me in a dimension where Dustin Poirier beats Conor McGregor. But I mean, that's a fight that has to happen because that's basically
this is the placeholder. Like this is deciding whether or not who's going where. Right. But what's funny about that? Like I'm reading
question mark
quotes from his manager. So Khabib told Match TV in comments after clarified by manager Ali Adababa that he expects the winner of McGregor versus Poirier at UFC 257 to fight for the lightweight title. Like, why would you even need to say that if you're not fighting anymore? Right.
Right, yeah, what is your interest here? It seems like maybe everybody except Khabib is interested in this fight happening. I wonder if maybe he retired because he was stressed, but like by the time this fight would be possible, like late next year, would he be interested? If not, does this become like a interim belt fight? Like, I don't know, because like if whoever wins this fight, like who's left? Justin Gaethje and Oliveira, I guess, but that's like the top of the division.
Right.
If Habib's not champion,
Right.
so how do you determine who's champion from the four of them?
They
And
should just
since
do
it's
it
not
one
Pride,
time.
we're not going to do a tournament, so I have no idea what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah, they did one time with the BMF.
A one-time
Like,
tournament,
why
throw
not
Paul
have a
Felder in there,
one-time
why not?
tournament
Dan Hooker.
on Fight Island? And the loser has to literally die.
The loser is
that's basically it. The last one I wanted to ask if you had a fight of the year candidate, because there was so many good fights this year. Surprisingly, through all the fuckery that's happened, the Apex facility has provided us a lot of close range fights and knockouts and shit like that, and a lot of good fights. I still don't have Zhang Wei Li and Joanna Jędrzejczyk's fight being unseated because of its historic production. And it's just the showcase of talent and skill that we saw between the two fighters. That I still have that as number one.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the UFC there, because I think that's what they picked as their fight of the year. And it's the entire process of that fight, both the fight itself and like the lead into and like exit of the fight, are all exactly what I wanted to see. I think cathartically. But also just like I don't think I expected to see Joanna lose decisively like that again. And then her live with the side of her head being mutated for the next like several weeks. And just see, Zhang Wei Li be coordinated, do it for China, but also do it for a sort of woman that doesn't exist in UFC yet. And I'm excited to see if the UFC can make her like a character next year. They didn't really get their opportunity this year because of COVID and whatnot.
Unreal. And it wasn't like,
but they threw like
fucking like just sloppy garbage. Like it was like technical striking. Like
technical striking and striking that
go right back in.
They would
they were hurting each other every. It was like 800 significant strikes.
To hit each other again.
Yeah,
they were uninterested in playing around.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Say
but
Hooker,
my runner-up
Poirer fight was also very good.
Out of that was whatchamacallit, Felder Hooker. That was my runner-up. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Felder took that in like 2 weeks and put his whole ass out there. Really good fight, and really the kind of fight you build like UFC promotion reels out of. Like, this is what heroes fight like. Very good. But yeah, I don't see there has not been a better fight this year than.
Not to say that they weren't
Willie
like exciting fights.
In Joanna.
It was just that.
No, there are plenty. There's been like some of the most ridiculous knockouts I've ever seen happen this year.
Right. Yeah, I think Buckley's
that's
got
not a good fight.
This
is a good knockout.
Yeah. I mean, he fucking
basically
did the Karate Kid on that guy in slow motion.
That's how it happens.
Poor gentleman. But that's all I got. I'm just gonna, so we can just get past all the fucking bullshit of like editing. I'm just gonna post this one up as is, and then that's what we'll do. This will be our New Year's Eve episode, I guess, right? So I'll put it up tomorrow's New Year's Eve. So I'll put it tomorrow. I'll make some promos.
Yes.
And then there's supposed to be like a 2-week hiatus from the UFC. I don't really know anything going on in Bellator, so this will be some good fill-in the meantime. Jarrett, do you have anything coming up? I know you had an Irrational Passions podcast not too long ago. You've been writing and doing all the types of ill shit. Is there anything you want to plug in the meantime?
The second half of December, we've been doing a whole lot of nothing. But early December, we did so Extra Life is a thing that happens in November, generally in the industry, where lots of people raise money for like children's charities by playing games. We decided we wanted to do the same sort of process of doing like a telethon several day, several hour game broadcasting event, but we didn't want to do it for children's charity because this year we wanted to do it for like COVID relief. But COVID relief is not Extra Life, so we can't use Extra Life. So we didn't do it at the same time in November. We did it in December.
Did you
raised a
have
good
to
amount
talk
of
to a
money. I
therapist
played
after?
League of Legends for 3 hours with my homies. It was a mess.
That same thing.
No, I just drank and swallowed my feelings until they became
as all good Americans should do.
So, yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Since then, I've done nothing because something to do because games stopped coming out. And most of December has been taken over by the fact that Cyberpunk is a fucking wild mess.
In stocks.
So everyone's just talking about that. At least $1 billion, probably more.
Yep.
When it's all said and done, class action lawsuit from the investors. Though they still sold 13 million copies.
Mostly bad.
You take the good with the bad. It's delisted from PSN because they tried to back Sony into a corner, making them honor refunds, and they were like, "We will, but we can't sell this game then." Whoops. So it's been a mess for it's been a while since I've seen a game launch.
This is like
fucking hot mess state. And it's funny because once a year there's a mess. And
top 10 reasons why you don't rush a game.
Recent memory.
Cyberpunk. Yeah. Well, still feels rushed.
Which is funny because they had 10 years.
What were they doing? Were they just like chilling for the first 5 years? Fair enough.
Counting money, I don't know, Polish strippers, I guess. Really, it's just they wanted to, like, I'm sure this is a game that had a particular scale in 2013 when they.
It looks like they made the game in 2013 and never made any adjustments.
Every year or something. Or they had this high bar and just decided never to scale down. And they were just like, we'll figure it out. Technology will get better or whatever. And I'm sure a lot of it is investor pressure telling them they need to do this, and this, and it has to be here and it has to be at this date. Yeah. You know, this is one of those things that could have been solved by time.
20 years.
Which is hilarious because how much time do you need? Which, I mean, I've made fun of Square for doing the same thing. So it's good to know that it doesn't just happen to Japanese companies. It happens to European ones too.
That's it for all of us here at the show. Follow at Jarrett John. Don't say A. It's at. I don't know why I said A. I don't know why I said A.
Why would you say A?
Ayo! Chris Brown, anybody? No?
Gross.
Too soon? At Jarrett John, JARRETTJAWN. That's on Instagrams, on Twitters.
You did it.
Do you have like a separate link for your writing as well? I am no longer high functioning stupid on Instagram. I am now Peach Daddy.
I'm not have a separate link.
PEACH. Yes, I've got a Peach Daddy tank top, and that's my name.
You've evolved.
But someone else took the regular Peach Daddy, so now I'm PEACHDADDIE. Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump the other. There can only.
I didn't
be
know
one
there was a Peach Daddy beef.
I saw his page. Doesn't look like he can fight. I'm fairly confident that I can take
the other Peach Daddy.
Yeah.
Until.
Yeah, we're good. Unless he's got a gun.
Oh, we got him. This is fine then. Yeah. We're good.
Yeah, if you've got a gun, you don't really need to know how to fight at all. Really.
True. You don't have to fight it with a gun.
But that's it, y'all. Peace, love, and gap. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Stay black. Does your shirt say enjoy death? That's hilarious. That's the jersey for this show. Enjoy death. That's the 2020 shirt right there. It's the mood. It's the schmood. Mm-hmm. It's the Joe Vibin shirt.
It's the mood.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Bye. Yes.